is it is a one session, meaning that we are just going to study the basics. But if brand can allow, maybe subsequently, we can schedule some session maybe to dive deep in certain areas that we think are very important. But quickly, introduction. Why are we studying personal finance? So this generation, I'm suspecting that most of us who are here are the millennials and maybe Gen Z. So this generation we are called the fire generation. By the fire generation, I mean that we are those who have been called that we want to have financial independence and at the same time retire early. So we want to retire early as well as have financial independence. So one of the reasons, logic reasons as this generation is that we as young people, we are trying to have that understanding of how do we achieve these aspects that I can say colloquial terms that are being used to accept us or to define us. So one of the reasons is us being the fire generation. The another thing is that as you look at your future, there's an aspect of finance that will play greatly in your future, given in your household, even in parenting, in school, wherever you are. There's always an element of finance, and it is very important for us to still learn how to manage our finances and have that literacy level. The third thing also, we find out that most of the time we have many needs, or I can say needs or wants, whereby our money is being used in very many areas. But the sources that generate that income are very few. So you might be having so many needs, but very few sources. That's the challenge that we have with finances these days. Personal finance, the major issues that you have so many needs and wants, but very few sources in which can add to the pool for you to use that money wisely. So one of the reasons for us to understand this is for us to really learn on how to either manage the few sources that we have, or in other words, maybe increase our sources. But the element that we really need to focus on is how to have that balance between the sources that are feeding into our pot in terms of the financial capability that we have, and how to manage that in terms of the needs and the wants that we want to achieve with that. And going on, I'll just share with you some very interesting statistics. 2/3 of Kenyans, as of now, this is some of the statistics I was doing online. There's this financial inclusion study that has been done by it's called Federation. The guys in Westland are called FDA Kenya, F something, F Federation or something. So 2/3 of Kenyans have saved nothing for their retirement. 2/3. 2/3 of Kenyans. That's just like approximating 2/3 out of 50 million is around 34 million people. That's 34 million people have nothing saved for their retirement. Another statistic that will impress, only 20% of millennials demonstrate any basic financial literacy. So 20%, yeah, this 20% is, you find that that's meaning that 80% of people don't have a good understanding or a basic understanding of financial literacy that can help them. And we just, as we were beginning, we said that money is something that is very critical, that for us as young people or individuals, we need to know how to really manage it. Another statistic, only over 40% of help student loan borrowers aren't making payments as of now. Yeah, 40%, and I know some of us even here, we are culprits of this. Yeah, meaning that we've borrowed and it's a burden that is still overweighing us. We still want to manage. We have debt to pay, as well as we want to live in a good way with the same money that are the channels of income that we have. Another statistic that is interesting: 50% of households in Kenya, 50%. This is actually shock to me. 50% of households live paycheck to paycheck, meaning that you cannot anticipate what will happen next month. Yeah. For example, now we're in the COVID-19 series or situation, and suddenly you lose your job. Yeah. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, meaning that you cannot even support yourself when you go to the next month. Yeah. This one actually even shocked me. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, meaning that you cannot even think of the future. How will you be able to sustain yourself when things when something happens differently, or a pandemic, or not a pandemic, but maybe even not even losing your job, but something that will relate with that amount. I hear someone saying they relate. Anyway, and one of the founders of Microsoft, Bill Gates, says that if you're born poor, it's not your mistake. But if you die poor, it's your mistake. So these are just some things that are drivers that help us to really learn or build on understanding how to manage our finances, or generally the financial literacy aspect. So just do some quick. Sorry. This is just something that I added. Earning money is the fastest and biggest way to improve your financial power, but we'll discuss more this in other slides. But quickly, I just wanted to just get a feel of everyone. I want to, since this is a digital generation, I want us to go to a site called menti.com. Just go to, on the devices, just go to a site called menti.com just now. I just want to feel on, in terms of aspect from your side, the members who are here, how do you gauge your financial literacy, or how understanding of your level, how you're managing your finances so far? So just let's go to menti.com, and then you enter code 385245, 385245. So if you go to menti.com, let me just see. Can you see that screen?
Great.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, just go to menti.com and just put an adjective. Not great. I can see you guys are putting. I just want to hear the feel of guys. What do you feel about
your personal?
Hi, Powell.
Yes.
Would you mind sharing the link
Okay.
on the chat
Menti.com.
so that we can just click on it? Yeah. Here.
Okay. Okay. Let me just share the link.
So Rahab, go to your browser and then type menti.com.
Any adjective. It's a doing word.
And then Powell.
Yeah.
Now that you're the host, some people might be in the waiting room, so you'll just admit them.
Okay, I've already admitted them.
Okay, so.
Where's the chat?
Peculiar.
Okay. Okay. I don't know whether not interesting, not great, interesting, not great. I'm waiting for guys to add the stuff. Peculiar. Just want to get the general feel of how we feel in terms of our financial level of understanding, and not great, appalling, not good, peculiar, desperate, admirable. Okay, okay, we have positive aspect as well. Yeah. Admirable, desperate, interesting, needs work, not good. Let's keep on the ones you can add more. I'm seeing equal down. So generally, from what we can see, I can see 10 people. I don't know how many here, but from the aspect we are just seeing here is that poor. Okay, we are seeing that generally there is something that really needs to be done in terms of the way we manage our finances. We still have a lot of work to do. I mean that at this point we are really not happy with the way we are handling our finances. Yeah, I can still see guys entering interesting, still learning, needs work, desperate, tricky. It's a very tricky situation. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll just go back to the presentation. So generally, we see that in terms of our financial health, there is so much work that we need to do. But that work, for us to be able to achieve something or do something in terms of financial health, we actually need to understand how do we manage, or how do we progress from where the level we are in to another level, going to a higher zone, yeah, or a different level. But so that's why this section was crafted. We just want to learn some of the principles that we know are around personal finance management. So principles, let me just go directly to principles. So I'll just go and break down the principles that we have for personal finance management. After that, I'll expound a little bit on it. And then finally, we'll have a Q&A session that anyone who has a question we can answer and see what we can do to better our finances. So principle number one, this is something that I've realized that many of us don't have, having a financial plan. Many of us have, I don't know, career plan. We have goals. I don't know, by this age, I need to do this one. So I have a family plan, how to manage my family in terms of where I want my family to go. I have my religion plan or spiritual plan or goal. There's a level I want to reach. I have my personal plan as well on how I want to do my stuff or just aspect. A friend of mine recently just gave me a plan of like 10 years plan of how he sees his future. So he wrote like a synopsis of his future in 10 years. But then when you read that synopsis, you find that there's nothing around financial management, or what do you desire, what aspect in terms of your finance. It's something that we really need to be cognizant of. What do you want to achieve in terms of your financial well-being? As we've seen, finances is something that is very critical, and from the statistics that I've shared, where we have like 50% of households are living from paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, for you to even have those plans that you're planning, I don't know, career, life, personal plans, spiritual plans, health, physical, physical, for you to achieve all that, finance is like the bedrock. It's the underlying rock that will be boosting you to be able to achieve those plans, even vacation plans or whatever plans you have. Yeah, we have life goals, but generally we don't have financial plans. Meaning that it's something that also reminds me, there's this analogy we often use, the ship that is setting out. So if you are in a ship that is setting out, let me say from Mombasa, going to nowhere, we don't have where it is going, but there's no captain at the helm of the ship, and you let the ship just roam around. You find that at the end of it all, the ship will not go anywhere. It may ever it might end up in an island, which is not where it wanted to go. Like, it's rudderless. It has no desire of where it is heading. But if you have a ship that has a destination, yeah, and there's a captain at the helm, knowing that I'm headed to maybe the port of Oman, yeah, there's 100% chance, yeah, not 100, but let me say 98, 99 chance that it will reach its destination, yeah. There is a high likelihood of it reaching its destination if it has a goal or a plan of where it is heading. The same thing even in our finances. In the coming days or years, where do you see yourself in terms of financially healthy? Do you see yourself being financially independent? or do you see yourself still being able to go through paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck? Yeah. Failing to set some financial goals can create tensions. Yeah. Later you find that you have, you don't know, you are not very clear. Where are you headed? Yeah. Even if you have plans, those are the plans, they don't fit in very well in your overall plan. As I've said, financial plan is like the bedrock. Having financial plan is one of the best or the basic principles that all of us have to be aware of. Number two, another principle, tracking your expenses. Tracking your expenses. Very important. But many of us just, I know guys have budgets, though I'm an anti-budget guy, but guys have budget, they plan everything, but ideally you don't know where your money is going. Yeah, you don't have that visibility of where you're spending your money. You get money, yes, as we've said, the sources are many. Yeah, the sources are few, but the needs and the outlets, there are many. Yeah, it's like you're opening a tap that has a limit of maybe, let me say, 20 liters, but the containers that you want to fill, there are more than 100. You have 10 liters, you have like 10, 5 liters. You'll find that the tap eventually will run out. Yeah, it's the same way with money. If you're not able to tell where you're spending your money, you don't know where maybe how much in a month do you spend in terms of entertainment, in terms of maybe your physical activities, maybe in terms of paying for your utilities. Like, you don't have that visibility. And I can tell you that having that visibility of where you're spending your money is one of the important things as well, one of the important principles, because it will give you an idea. It gives you that visibility of knowing where to cut down your expenses. I started doing this thing 5 years ago, and I can tell you it's something that has become part of it. It's a discipline. You are more organized. You know where to cut costs and where to reinvest most of your money. As I'm saying, I'm anti-budgeting. Most of the time, I find people budgeting, trying to fix allocated amount of money for specific things, and then at the end of it all, you find that people deny themselves the experience or the ability to really use money for the things that they cherish. Like for me, I know I like my weakness is one of my weakness in money. I know is if I pass through a bookstore, I can take even 10 books, or a library. Yeah, so I always try to avoid going to those places. But I know that this is something that I really like. I like books. I like buying books. So it's not something that I don't want to limit myself, because it gives me that fulfillment or joy as well by reading them. But so I try and see what areas of other costs or costs that I can cut out and reinvest that money into buying books. And if you can only know that by tracking your expenses. If you are not tracking your expenses, you cannot tell potential areas where you can minimize costs and maximize those costs. So tracking your expenses is another principle that we really need to really know and maximize on. Going to another, okay, sorry. So there's something about the habit loop here. Okay, so the habit loop here, what I'm just trying to say is that even in terms of how you manage your finances or how you spend your money, yeah, there's something that is being, in terms of psychology, there's a way that it's being governed. So for example, the habit loop, it's something that psychologist called Charles Duhigg came up with, whereby how we do our activities or events or how our characters or the things that we do on a daily basis, they are being driven by three things: a cue, a routine, and a reward. A cue is something that maybe it's something that invokes your a sense, like it's like a snap of a finger, or it's something that invokes you to do something normally, and then you get the reward. The dopamine effect helps you to go back to maximize on the cycle. For example, let me just give a good example in terms of using our phones. When you get a notification or something blinks on your phone, you get that desire to go and check what is it there, who has messaged me, what have I received. Yeah, so that you or automatically your brain already is thinking. It's not even thinking of the notification. No, it ties the notification to a reward. Meaning that when you look at your when you hear that ding or that notification alert, it already thinks of the reward that you'll get by looking at that. Meaning that good feeling effect, the dopamine that is released in your body, you feel good. Yeah, which makes you rush to the phone and check what is it there, what is that there. And when you check, you find that that's why we even keep on browsing on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you are on these social channels these days, the one that is trending, TikTok. You are there, you feel there's a feeling. You can spend even endless hours just to going through the same thing. Even in our finances, yeah, you find this is the same idea that is governing us. So, for example, for now, maybe you get money, let me say a windfall. Someone sends you 5K from nowhere, not from nowhere, but they just said, just use this 5K. Immediately, even before you think of other things that you needed to do, you're already thinking, your brain is already tuned to think of the reward. For example, even if you get a notification from the bank, that not even from the bank, from this even apps or the bank where someone sends, it tells you that your salary or the amount that you are expecting in a year. Your mind is thinking of other things. Yeah, the reward that I'll get by using this money. Yeah, be that maybe buying pizza, maybe I don't know, shopping, going and shopping stuff. That is how this loop is created. Yeah, and the main reason, the way for you to really know how to manage or to avoid spending your money in different other things or things that are not helpful, is knowing how this cycle works. And when you know this cycle, the moment you know this cycle, you know at what point you can cut and manage this cycle. And the main point that most people find out from research, it's you cannot change the cue and the reward. Those are things that are standard. Yeah, but you can manage them. The main thing that you can change is the routine. So the cue, for example, you get an alert, yeah, the money, but your mind should think differently. Yeah, when I get that ping or an alert, it should tell me that, oh, okay, it's not something that I should be spending, but maybe I should be saving or investing or sending somewhere else. Yeah, and this is something I'll talk about in terms of automation down along the line. Find principle number 3: paying yourself first. Yeah, paying yourself. As you've seen there, only from the statistics, 40% of people that we know, is it 40? I can't remember. It was either 40, yeah, but let's use 40, are saving. Yeah, meaning that only 40 of the people who are surveyed, yeah, are saving of the bigger population. 40%. Yeah, saving is something that is fundamental, but most of the time you find that it's a challenge. People like taking money from your checking account and sending it to the saving account, or trying to take that money, sending it to the investment account, or the various investments. If you have the low risk investments areas that you can send your money. So paying yourself first is the art of trying to ensure that when the money comes in, something that has come in, you pay. Like I can term it as jipigia mwili pole. Yeah, but it's a way of trying to put money for better days. Yeah, and to help you, because it needs like willpower for you to actually pay yourself first. The best thing for most people to do, you automate this so that you don't have to do it on your own. Like you unajituma, should you take this money, send it to this. That's why you have to build a system. Yeah, where like money comes to your account maybe every end of the month, automatically it's deducted. Maybe say 15% inapelekwa huku, 10% inapelekwa. So it doesn't give you that exposure or avenue for you to make that decision on your own, because you've already automated or built a system around it. Yeah, and that's now maybe it goes to your investment accounts and all the other accounts. Yeah, those are some of the fundamentals that we really need to know. Another principle that I want, okay, so let me say, okay, the earlier the better. So there's something here around the earlier the better. The earlier you start saving or sending your amount to the different areas of investment, you find that you get more head start. Yeah, you have a head start along the way. For example, this is a case that was being done in one of the business schools, whereby when you begin at 25 years old, you just save, slightly start at 25, then start at 35. And then each saves 100 per month for the rest of the year. So the year that they were trying to target was 65 years. So down the line, you find that the Sally, who started early, saved $50,000. $50,000 is around 5 million, more than someone who started at 5 years old. But the guy who started at 5 years old was even trying to save more than Sally. Yeah, it just gives a view that the earlier you start, the better. If you start early doing these things, you'll find that you have a head start along the way, that even when the time comes for your retirement, you have something to go back to, or you have something that can sustain you even after when you don't have money. Yeah, as I was saying, automate the process. Yeah, automate the process. Try and do these things. These days we have the standing orders. You can set up a standing order that sends money automatically to the different accounts. Yeah, you don't have to do it on your own. Yeah, it's because most of the time you find that the more you use your willpower to do things, it's like let me just give an example. When you go to the office in the morning, you find that you have much energy. During the day, in the morning hours you have energy, and then it starts slacking off. In the afternoon, you start going down, like your energy. It's like the way you're using willpower. Yeah, the way you're throwing yourself out there to do stuff. Yeah, and for you to maintain order. Yeah, so that you don't have to go back to the willpower bucket and drive everything out. You have to. The idea is to automate these things so that you don't have to be put in a situation to make that decision. Yeah, that's something that I learned very early on. Principle 4: good debt and bad debt. Good debt and bad debt. Good debt is something that brings value to you, or it's an asset. Yeah. So maybe like now I'm saying, you're getting a loan to start a business. Bad debt is something that it doesn't have value. Like it is like an expense. Yeah. It's like deducting things from your account. Yeah. People maybe you go to get a loan to buy a car. I would say, yeah, a car is a good thing, but also you have to look at it in terms of the other aspect. You find that it's you have to use it for, you have fuel, you have maintenance, you have other aspects that now it's like deducting money instead of adding money or assets to your account. It's like it's taking it away. Yeah, good debt and bad debt. You have to really know that difference as well. I'm trying to keep with the time as well. Emergency fund. Emergency fund. We're in COVID-19, and we've seen very many people being furloughed in their various jobs, where guys are losing their jobs from different areas. Yeah, and it has. Guys are losing their jobs, and if you didn't have an emergency fund, or a fund that will take care of you when things happen, or when things are not going as expected. Yeah. So, for example, you lose your job now, how will you survive in the next month if you are living from paycheck to paycheck?
Mtu anaweza uliza hivyo, itaweka mrefu mpaka ifike wapi kwa barabara au
when you lose your job, how will you be able to manage? Yeah. An emergency fund is an account that you just put there for just in case something goes wrong. So, for example, someone doesn't have your insurance. Maybe you don't have insurance, and maybe you get a terminal illness or something that will not enable you to earn money in the way that you've been earning. Yeah, just a funding account that will help you in terms of things that don't go well in any way. So the basic idea here is that always, for example, for job, or not even just for job, is just to have a 6 month of living expense and this 6 months of living expense, you can only know if you've been tracking your expenses, which also links to the first thing that you are talking about managing, knowing how you are tracking expenses, how your money is coming in and how your money is going out. Yeah. So the basic idea is to have a 6-month understanding. So for example, in every month you're using 10K for your basic need. Let me just say basic need. Yeah, rent, food. I don't know. I don't know. The internet is a basic need these days. Maybe utilities for mobile, power, and all that, and you multiply by 6. Yeah, so that you just have that cushion. Yeah, and also this money, just don't leave it there. You can put it in a way that it's also working for you. It's not that money just staying idle. It can be. You can even take it to these low risk investments. You can throw them into these bonds. These ones that the government is giving bonds. Those ones there's one that is that was there. Emakiba. Yeah, yeah, throw them there so that they just be there. Yes, because you can withdraw anytime. There's no problem withdrawing from those avenues, and there's no penalty. It's just there, but it's a risk, low risk, meaning that you don't lose anything. Yeah, it's a let me say 0.1% that you lose anything when you invest on a government bond. Yeah, so you just put it there just to save you for in case something goes wrong. Yeah, that's one of the other principles. Moving forward, I think this is the final one. There are other principles as well, but these are the things that I feel that are very important for us to know. Keep living within your means. This is very important. You find that maybe you're driving a car that you cannot even fuel. Yeah, I had a case and example of this. One of a close associate who we work with is driving a car that consumes 8,000 of fuel per day. 8,000. I was wondering, 8,000, yeah? That's too much for fuel per day for you to be consuming. And then if you look at his expenses, like the car was almost taking like almost 50%. Car fuel is taking almost 50% of the money that you have. What are you trying to do? It looks illogical, but that's what we do. Yeah, it looks irrational, but that's human being. Yeah, you have 20K that's coming in your account, but in a month you're already using 30K. Where is the extra 10K coming from? You find that this extra 10K is where now you go to those loan, you're borrowing, you're getting to debt, you are getting clash with friends, you're borrowing from friends, yeah, and getting into clashes, yeah, you're ending even friendships because of such extravagance. Yeah, everyone has his own race. Yeah, you don't have to compare yourself with others. Yeah, like someone is living in a different state. You go there, you find that on a TV, 42-inch. You don't know how he's getting his money or how he's doing his stuff. Yeah, yeah. You want to keep up with your friends. You want to compare yourself with who and who. Yeah, especially now with the social media advent, things are very bad. Yeah, guys, everyone is trying to see, because the thing about social media is that everyone wants to display the best part. Yeah, you don't see the other part, the portion of where people are suffering. Yeah, people are eating kuku, swimming pool, but for ground, things are very different. Yeah, please run your own race. Live within your means. See what you can manage, what are your needs, what your wants are, and see how you can live within that pool of money you have. Yeah, if not, increase your sources. Yeah, living within our means is one of the fundamental things that we also need to learn about in this current age. So expenses. So some of the things around expenses. These some of the recommendations that have been given from analysis. You find this is the basic, but you can also tweak it to the way you want. You can either increase or decrease. In fixed costs, it will be around 50 to 60% of the money that comes in. Yeah, saving 5 to 10%, investment 10. Then I have this section called the guilt-free spending. So guilt-free spending is where you have money to just spend on other things. I don't always advocate for you having money and being frugal about it. Like unajinyima. Yeah, like I was seeing there was a recommendation that was so absurd that I was wondering, what is someone like instead of you going to the barber, shave yourself. How do you shave yourself instead of going to the barber? Yeah, that you're just trying to save something like 100 to 200 bob. 100 to 200 bob. And then the guy was saying that take the 100 to 200 bob and multiply it by 12. Maybe you're saving 100 to 200 bob per month. So that's, let me say 200 on the top. 200 times 12, that's 400 per month. and then it says that you put it in an investment account and see in 10 years around, you might multiply that amount to 10K. Honestly, that's so absurd. Yeah. How can I be trying to do things like Najinjima some out of the pleasure, but I'm making money? Why is the purpose of money then if I'm not supposed to use it? So that's why I'm saying that the portion of just spending that money to do things that I feel are things that give me that dopamine effect. For example, I was saying earlier, buying books. Yeah. So I can spend money, I can already allocate money to just spend on buying books. Yeah. And another advice is that a third of your basic salary or income, the one that you're generating, should not be like the rent should not be more than a third of that. Yeah. So this is just some of the fundamentals. So the analogy that I always also try is money is like food. Money is like managing food. Many people want to grow thin, not thin, like you just have the right weight, and you always plan. We are going to the gym. At the beginning of the year, you start with going to the gym, but you see very many people in the gym, almost very many at the beginning of the year, but as the months go on, people slack off. You end up with eventually at the end of the year, maybe even 10 people who have maintained that. And that's why I always see that the willpower essence of it also still comes in managing money. So in terms of money, you see that for you, actually from research also, for you to even reduce weight, for those who want to reduce weight, it's the main basic principle is managing the amount of calories you're taking, and two, keeping fit or exercising that. Yeah. So if you keep fit and manage your calories, you'll be okay. But the other thing minute that people just focus on, which are so ridiculous. But anyway, in terms of food and money, you see that we don't track calories intake. If you want to reduce your weight to a manageable level, the same thing with money. You don't track your spending. You eat more than you know. You are here eating a plate full. Yeah, I heard that you also the way the shape of the plate should matter. Yeah, and the way you eat. Yeah, the more you eat, the more weight you gain. It's the same thing with the spending. You spend more than what you realize, and you debate about the more minute things. Yeah, calories. I don't know. Should I eat carrots? Should I eat orange? Which one has more calories and all that? Yeah, things. Yeah, you should go to the barber. You should not go to the barber. Shave yourself. So I'm wondering, why should I be shaving myself and the barber cost is only 200? It's even more effective, yeah? Or these are the things that people still debate about. Value advice over research. Yeah, most of the times people just go for superficial views, superficial advices, yeah, from research, what people are doing and all that. But you who wants advice, can you just go on your own and do further research? Yeah, invest in knowing this thing. The more you invest, the more you build that art of knowing what is right and what is wrong. Yeah, and seeing which one works for you. Yeah, even in this session, just don't take it as face value. Go and do your own research. See what works for you and what does not work. Yeah. So investing principle, I think there are three things that are very important. Do your research. As we were saying, this is just principle of finance 101. With investing is a whole different topic that we can dive deep. But I'm just giving you an overview of the principles that are key. In investment, just do your research, be disciplined, start early. Start early, we've discussed. Being disciplined, the consistency. That's why we have to automate these things so that you don't have to make that decision. You just every day you're just sleeping, or the day when you're sleeping, things are just working automatically. You don't have to go and do them on your own. Yeah, it takes that heavy laden of you making that choice. Willpower, as you'll be talking. So as the first point we had discussed around being how to grow sources. Now we know that money, we need to expense it in many ways. We have the various needs and various wants, but the sources are limited. Yeah, you have money you want money to do for you very many things, but the sources that are coming into your pot are very limited. That's why for you to be rich or to be financially independent, you have to grow your income sources. Yeah. So these are a cash flow chart. Just see. Yeah. when you are trying to be frugal or cutting on your expenses and your income, the yellow part shows the income and the gray part expenses. When you're trying to cut on your expenses, pinching or cutting it down, maybe cutting cost, but your income stays same level. Yeah, the same thing, credit and debit thing in finance. Yeah, same level. It's just staying on the same level as you go down. You find that your income level will be very substantial. Not very substantial, but it's somewhere there. Yeah, something somewhere there that may be manageable. But for you to have that financial independence, you can maintain your expenses at the same time. But as your income grows, you find that you have more pot of cash flow that you can use to expense in a different areas. But your expenses are still almost fairly stable. But as you grow your income along the way, you find you having that capability or the goal that you had for the financial independence, or the other goals maybe you had for financial. So the main idea that I'm just trying to share with us is that grow your income sources. Grow them, yeah. Try and find many avenues in which you can fill in your income source or your pot. And some of the things that are majorly, these are just few, but you can think through. Yeah, getting a raise at work, getting a promotion. I think maybe a promotion. You can do things for you to get a promotion, or changing a job, going to a job that has a higher paying potential. Yeah, making more money. You can make more money through your skills. Maybe you have skills that you have that you can use to gain money. Yeah. So if you have maybe skills that you can use, I don't know which skills, but I believe that everyone of us has a potential or a skill that they can find ways, they can think differently in a way. How can this skill that I'm having be used to generate more income? So start a business. Starting a business is one of the major ways, although it's not easy. You find that most business die within 2 years. Yeah, most startups that have been started within 2 years, they die. So it's a high risk as well, but with high returns. Yeah, starting a business is one of the ways to be financially independent as well. How to grow more of your income sources. Yeah, but it's not easy. I cannot say that any of this is easy, but you have to take that deliberate action if you have that financial plan and financial goal that you want to achieve as well. Moving forward, I think we are winding up. I think so. Debt management. So as I was saying, debt management is also another whole topic on it. So it's a big area. We are just here. We are just covering the basics 101, 101 thing, 101 how to manage our personal finance. So in debt management, two of the most important steps of getting out of debt is finding how much you owe and starting to pay. Pay the debt. Pay the debt. But I'll give you the step-by-step process. So debt is one of the things that maybe gives us stress in different ways. As we saw there, we saw that 40% in terms of statistics, 40% of guys who have graduated from campus who had help are not yet even making payments for help. Yeah. For you to handle this debt area, first of all, some of the steps that I'm giving here is that find how much you owe. After you find how much you owe in different areas, you classify them. Maybe you owe maybe the bank, friends, or whatever areas or avenues that you're using. Then decide which one do you want to pay first. In terms of which one has more interest or interest rate, or which one is you are seeing is a potential area that you need to get it out of the way immediately. So after deciding that, or in this case, if there are some areas where you have the interest rate is much higher, you try to negotiate for a lower interest rate. Like I have a friend who recently, last year, went to a business school. So in the business school, they took a loan for paying. They took a loan to pay for school. So the loan was around 10%. It was 10% per annum. Yeah, to pay for school fees. Yeah, for tuition, and it was so high, so that eventually when he left business school, because you start paying after leaving business school, so he's leaving this year. So when the plan that he has taken now is that when he leaves business school, he'll take that loan from the current employer, not employer, but a bank that he has, and or take a he'll take another loan from a lower interest paying account or lower interest paying bank and pay the previous loan. Yeah, so that he'll be paying the previous loan is having a higher interest rate, so he'll be paying it from a loan from a different firm, and now paying the one that is now the one that has financed this loan. He'll be paying it with a lower interest rate. The interest now, the one that he has now is around 4 to 5%, 4 point something percent. Yeah. So if you have debt that are earning high interest, look for avenues of paying that one which high interest and taking a lower interest one. Yeah. Then decide where the money will you want to money to pay will be coming from. It may be coming from what you are cutting on costs. So if you add those guilt-free spending amount that you are spending, you are saving for, you take them and feed in this to pay off this debt, and then start making a debt. The more you, the faster you start paying this thing, the better. Yeah? If you still wait and wait and wait, it will still continue growing and growing, and it becomes a bigger problem along the. Just make the dent small by small, piece by piece, and it will make progress. I think I don't know if there's anything. Okay, now I think that's the end of it all. These were just principles. Personal finance is a wide aspect which you can still explore. And thank you so much for joining us for this session. Maybe some few things that I just wanted to add. If you want to do more research or more things to learn more about personal finance, there are books that I would really like to recommend to you. My #1 book is Personal Finance for Dummies by Rick Tyson. Very good book. If you just take that, I can say, even if you leave these other books and just focus on this one, you'll learn a lot of things. He has everything researched. It's a well-researched book, Personal Finance for Dummies. Though the title says dummies, yes, but it's a very good book. It's a very good book. The other one that you can check, The Billionaire Next Door, it's also a very good one. The Richest Man in Babylon, I think most of us have come across it. It's also a very good book for you to learn. It has a fictional story which teaches you on how to manage your finances. So it's also a very good book. These are some like now the first one that I really like, that one, The Simple Dollar. Very good blog. There's a guy called Trent. He has very good understanding of financial management, and he has very not script, but very clear, very vivid strategies on which someone can manage his finances. Get Rich Slowly also is a very good blog. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Also, for the third one, I Will Teach You to Be Rich is also a good one, but he plays the psychological aspect of managing finances. It helps you to see the triggers that are making you choose the decision that you're making. Yeah, so I will teach. It's a very good. He also has a book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. It's also very good. It is very bulky, but it's a very good one. Millennial Personal Finance. It's also a very good blogs that you can just have a few of it. Thank you so much. I think that's it from me. Over to you, Brian. I don't know whether we have